So, what is this now? We are in week 7? Yeah, week 7. Oh my god, we're getting towards the end of the season. Session 7, yeah, week 7. So, we start the session in Dennis's brain.
That's not a good place to be.
We are
Confirm that it exists.
we are in the somehow existing Dennis's brain. So Dennis, you have first few days you were in the attic. You were pretty much, getting through it. You were not doing too badly at all until you started to fall asleep. And the dreams have gotten worse and worse and worse over the past few days. You haven't heard anything from the guys, and you haven't had any meals either. You've had a few knocks on the door. Have you responded to them if there's been a knock on the door?
Yeah.
Okay, what have you said? If they're offering you food, have you taken it?
Yeah, as long as it's not like food with blood in it.
Okay, so be wary that there are 2 lovely meat sacks downstairs that will be offering you food. So,
I mean, would they just throw it into the room, or would I be expected to go down?
they would have to open the door and give it to you.
Really?
They know better? Wouldn't they know better?
Yes and no, but how are they supposed to know that you're ready to come out if they don't talk to you? So,
Yeah, fair enough, but... Yeah, I guess... Then students probably refuse the food.
Okay. So, one night, you head to sleep and you're already experiencing sweats, cold sweat, as you fall asleep. You are at the farm, wandering around, looking desperately for something. It almost feels like you're in a sort of oil painting, a really dull oil painting, as you're walking around. And then the hunger starts to edge away at the center of your chest. You start to really feel like you just cannot go on. You need to drink. You need to drink. And it keeps pushing you and pushing you and pushing you. Till finally, you step into the barn, hoping to just bury yourself in the straw and fall asleep again. And you find 3 of your orphans playing bone dice, knuckle dice. And they look up at you with love and expectation in their eyes of, hey, Dennis is here. And you reach out a hand and grab the hair of one of these kids. And you sink your fangs deep into their neck and start to drink them dry as the other kids start screaming. And finally, you snap up awake and it's morning and you have the sweat's pouring off your body. But as you look around, your breathing calms, your pulse slows, and finally, the hunger is gone. You can feel it as a tug at the back of your mind, but that's normal. That's a normal tick. Finally, you can now remove your addiction to blood on your tracker there. And it goes down to what it was before. It's exactly what it was before. So it's like a mild addiction rather than a crippling one. Okay.
Congrats.
You hear a knock at the trapdoor, and you can hear Dennis. It's Arthak. Are you up there? I heard something smash. You haven't gone up the window, have you?
Wait, I look at the window first.
Okay, so the window's barred. But you can look out the window. It's daylight, and you can see a few. You can see a few.
Yeah, I was checking if I did smash it.
No, you can see a few carriages going up and down the road, down below. He says, "Are you decent? Is it safe to come in?"
Yes, it's fine. Yes, it's fine. I think it's much better now.
So he opens the trap door, and the ladder falls away down the trap door, and he climbs up, and he's got what looks like a bottle of good vodka in his hand. He's like, I thought I'd break out the good stuff to celebrate. And he like gets up and climbs up, and he walks over to you and tries to shake your hand.
Yeah, I shake it.
He's like, clammy, but no worse for wear, I see. He gives you a good stern look.
Gets back to the norm.
He uncorks the vodka and takes a little swig out the bottle and passes it to you, and walks over to the window.
Dennis would probably at this point shake the bottle of vodka to see if Ken would come by.
Well, he is literally. When he goes to the window, you just hear him just sigh, and just says, I can't open it from here. He starts mouthing the words, and you look over, and Kenneth is there, on the other side of the glass. It's like, but his spider forelimbs are like in a, I don't know, just like, I can't understand what you're saying. I can't hear you. And Arthur's like, I can't open it from here. Come around. And he turns around to you and says, can you talk to him?
Can't Ken teleport anyway?
Ah.
Yeah, but I guess the house is safeguarded.
Yeah.
He's also telepathic, but once again, the house is safeguarded.
Yeah.
Probably.
He's like, look. Like Arthur says, look, he can't, how do I put this? He can't affect us in here, okay? You need to go and, do you know what? He calls downstairs to the butler, and the butler just opens the door. A few minutes later,
and lets the spider in.
a few minutes later, you hear the butler like nearly drop all of his cutlery as the spider like climbs up the. All of a sudden, you hear the voice in your mind like, God's sake, I wish these things weren't so warded. I could just. It goes, hello, hello, hello. I heard the clinking of. Oh, there it is. There's my man, and he walks over to you and.
Hi, Ken. Did something happen at the farm yesterday?
He says, not that I'm aware of.
I'm gonna buy you another one if you check if all the kids are okay?
Oh, can I just have this one?
You can have a little bit. This is for my celebration.
Alrighty. So he like, takes it in his forelimbs and just starts chugging it.
How does Arthur respond to that?
He's just looking at the spider and then just shrugging. He's seen Ken before doing his thing. He comes over to you, Dennis, and says, listen, so I need to say Arthak has like this white hair and rather large sideburns going down. He looks like quite a severe man. Looks like he's about 6'4", 6'5", big dude. And he says, I have a personal favour. I like to think that you would understand that I've done you quite a service here, and as much as I'm loath to call it in so quickly, you are a person of means. And you are working with Sanger, and if he trusts you, then I can trust you.
Yeah, of course, I do pay my debts.
Well, it's not really a big thing. It's more of a... There is a man by the name of Havelock. Have you heard of him?
Nope, not really.
Okay. He just folds his arms and says, he is, how shall I say, like you, if you follow my meaning.
Vampire?
Yes. Yeah, crude name, but, is what it is. I think I have reason to believe that Havelock is growing his power base in the city. He's running against Felix Autumn for, mayorship of New Corinth. A very powerful position to have within the Dominion. As you know, New Corinth is essentially the rotten, beating heart of the Dominion. All of the big decisions are already made here, and then they are rubber-stamped in the capital.
I'm not big on the high politics stuff. What do you want me to do with him?
I want you to watch him. I think he's smuggling others of his kind into New Corinth to bolster his own coven. Even the normal people in the Greylocks and the Redcoats do not know of his affliction. I'm a Blackcoat, so of course I do. And I think Sangern does as well. I need him looked at, and if he is planning something against our esteemed mayor-to-be, perhaps, in Mr. Autumn, he needs to be stopped. We've already lost one mayor. Our last mayor was murdered. I want this election to go off without a hitch. Anvain is your backyard, so...
Got it. I'll have it done then.
Yeah,
Any idea where I could look for him at first?
I have no idea. I know he's about to have a debate with Felix Autumn. And then in a few nights' time. That will be public. But aside from that, no. No. Maybe his residence, I presume hanging around outside of his residence won't go down very well. So, I trust you to use your skills as a Blackcoat, like myself, to, ensure that he's watched, and that we are on top of all of the issues that could arise of him smuggling others of your kind into the city. If you're talking, you're quiet or non-existent.
It didn't pick up. Yeah. I said it will be done.
Okay. He nods and says, "Well, I'm leaving for a meeting. I'm sure you can see yourself out, and congratulations again, by the way." And he shakes your hand once again, manly shake, and then climbs down. And he says, "Kenneth, don't drink it all, and then he's just goes downstairs.
Arthek knows what Kenneth's all about.
Yeah, I'd probably at this point take the bottle from Kenneth and would finish it myself.
It tastes kind of gooey because a spider was just drinking from it, but aside from that, yeah, it tastes pretty good. All right, so would you like to where Sangern and Filberto went for their when you head downstairs into the normal apartment, there is a letter left there for you. There's a few letters left there for you. One of them is in the distinctive hand of Sangern. So.
Well, Dennis can't read, so they didn't clearly think ahead.
Ah, maybe or.
I would have. Oh, it would have been. I would have drawn a picture of a butler on the back of it.
There you go.
Yeah. So Dennis would go to the butler to read it for him.
Okay. So when you give him the piece of paper, he looks at you quizzically like, can you not read? Sort of thing. He cracks it open and opens it and he says, your distinguished guests, well, your distinguished friends are at the... Oh, he looks pretty impressed. He's like, they appear to be at a rather lovely establishment up the road, the Charlton. 6 stars. Very nice. You seem to roll in affluent company. Their room numbers are 617 and 619. He passes it back to you. Says, you may find them there.
Thanks again. I'll be going then.
All right. It's been a pleasure having you.
Yeah, sure.
So, Kenneth,
He knows that's not true.
I think Sangern would have left an outfit.
Oh right, yeah. So you got
Fancy outfit, yeah.
your Blackcoat stuff is there to work
The
on.
Blackcoat stuff, but also the we got nicer outfits for going to the Charleston because it's 6 stars.
First, yeah. Dennis would put the clothes for now in the bag because he needs to be in his beggar clothes for now, and he would first go to the orphanage and inform the kids, well, what to be watching for. So, beggar kids in front of our Richmond house doesn't seem suspicious, so some would be deployed there. Some would be deployed, I guess, near some bars where he would frequent. The other thing that Dennis might on the way to the Charleston. Like, he wouldn't go out of his way, but if there's a whorehouse on the way, he might go there to ask about the mayoral candidate. Because he doesn't know where vampires go get their fix.
Yeah. So, weirdly, a lot of the kids, when you ask them about this kind of a thing, about where Havelock could be, he doesn't seem to frequent any of the even upper class drinking houses, quote unquote, that vampires tend to go to when they're in New Corinth. So that's a mystery to you. That's kind of weird, you know, that this upper class vampire doesn't go to any of these establishments. But he is also running for mayor, so maybe he's keeping his, head below the parapet, so to speak, sort of doing his thing. But you never know.
Keeping his teeth clean.
Exactly, yeah, keeping his fangs clean.
So I guess his house is the only clue then.
Yes. A lot of the kids all the kids are fine, and they are already... one of them comes to you and asks you if it would be prudent to look at the Dawn's Break and see who has it now and who is, and who is running the place now.
Dennis would say no, because I think he was already told that it was one of the gangs, the red one or something.
The 6th Street Crows, yeah.
Yeah, so...
Yeah, it
it
was mentioned that.
unnecessary, so he would tell them to not bother with that.
Okay. So, are you going to head to the Charlton?
Yeah.
All right. So when you walk into the Charlton, there are people milling around in the main area downstairs, but there is also a lot of upper class folks wandering around, and essentially taking tea.
That seems like a good opportunity. I'd probably ask them about Havelock's fundraiser.
Okay, who are you asking?
The richest and most snobbish person in the room.
Okay, do a perception check for me to see if you can figure out who
So
that
in
is.
that case, that's for me just mind.
Okay, so yeah, you didn't need a high score to do that. There is a man in a top hat with a bushy moustache. Looks like a bit of a railway magnate, and he's sipping some tea, leaning backwards. He says, "But of course, my dear, whoever runs, it matters not to us. All we do is make sure the produce gets from one end to the other, mouth to arse, as it were." And the woman next to me goes, "Jeffrey, you cannot say things like that in public." He says, "I'll say whatever I want. Whatever I want." And he just turns around and sees you approaching. And he says, "I'm fine for now, thank you." And he taps his drink.
No. I'm here from Havelock. He has a message for you.
Havelock? Why in the hell would he have a message from me? I haven't spoken to the man in 7 weeks.
Well, as you know, running for mayor can be a rather arduous task, but also a very rewarding one. Maybe we should take that to a bit of a more quiet place, sir.
Do a mind check for me. There's charisma, so let's do a mind check.
Not.
I'll give you two extra.
skullduggery?
I'll give you 2 extra dice for good role playing.
I wanted to ask if skullduggery applies, but okay.
No, because you're being truthful. Really, you do want to go and speak to him somewhere else, so you're not trying to lie to him. That's fine. So he says,
That's a lot of successes.
he says, "Is this really necessary, young man? I'm trying to entertain the young lady here."
Is the young lady a whore?
We can go together. If you think she's trustworthy, let's say.
He looks at her and says, "No, good point." And he gets up and says, "Stay here, Marguerite. I'm going to be next door." And he says, "Come, bring the bottle."
Yeah,
So-
I go and I take the bottle.
So when you go to a room of your choice, I'm talking like an antechamber or something. Yeah, I'm guessing. So he rounds on you and says, Now, what is the meaning of this? I spoke to Havelock several weeks ago. I've already proffered my support for his campaign. What else does he want?
Well, he needs, let's say, a fundraiser. There is a job that needs to be done to ensure that his campaign will go smoothly. And of course, if you show your investment in his work, once he is mayor, favors can be exchanged.
Lad, this how do I put this? This is not my first rodeo, as you people like to say. Country people. I do not know what he wants. Will you please get to the point so I can get back to my debauchery, please?
Okay, fair enough. There is a farm outside of town, up north, and there will be a secret, let's say, auction called there, and the funds will be used to ensure that the campaign will be won. And as you clearly noted, I'm merely a messenger, so...
Yes?
There will be privileges to acquire. At midnight, at the closest midnight, the auction will begin. At the closest full moon.
He nods and says, do you have an invitation, or...?
Sir, your face and name speaks for itself.
Full moon is in 3 days. Is that correct?
Exactly, and I give him a map to the farm I own.
Did you draw it? Okay. Is it like in crayon?
I don't magically maybe have a pencil.
Okay. So he looks at it very quizzically and just looks up at you like, right. I can only assume this is some kind of shorthand. And he puts it away and he says, I will be there with my guards in 3 days. If this is some kind of runaround, let me know. And please let Havelock know that my influence could ruin his campaign. You do realize this, yes?
I understand those are rather hard news to relay, but I will do my best.
Shit, you do. And he walks off and goes back to his seat. Sits down. So, are you going to head upstairs? Because you know the room numbers. If you want to head upstairs. So, let's head to which room are we in? Who wants to? Because you guys, in our next scene, we're going to throw Sangern and Filberto in the same room, going over some plans. So, are you guys? Which room are you in? Are you in Sangern's room, Filberto's room, Autumn's room?
I guess we'll be in Sangren's room.
Okay. So you guys are... So, we can just skip forward to the point where if you did knock on Filberto's room first, there's just no answer, right? So,
Yeah. Sangren's taking the room next to Autumn, so that if something untoward happens, vampire hearing.
Mm-hmm. You are stopped a few times, Dennis, but once you show them the invitation from Sangern, that they nod and let you pass, and they do... Are you wearing your weapons?
Is that to me or to...
No, that is to Dennis. Are you wearing your weapons?
Yeah, of course.
So they go to take those off you, because you obviously they're not going to let you go in armed to speak to Felix Autumn if he is in residence. Are you going to let them do that, or do you want to keep your weapons on you?
Would they permit the chains, like without any attachments?
Yeah.
Then sure, they can take the rest for now.
Okay, so they
that
move.
would be a pretty comedic scene because Dennis always is just loaded out to the brim. So multiple sticks of dynamite, molotovs, a knife, axe, machete.
What was that movie where they did that? It was like they did a really good version of that. Let's see if I can find it.
Like just when they think it's all done, you start walking away and like, oh, sorry, and you go right into like the arm of your cloak, whatever it is you're wearing, and they pull out this like obscenely large dagger. It's like, there you go, hand it over to them.
Pull out a knife.
Yeah. So your first knock gets no answer, but the second knock on the second door does. Which one of you is going to open the door?
I guess I will.
Okay. The door pops open a little bit, and you see Filberto peering out.
Yeah. I say, good.
Oh,
Good.
that's what it
Good.
was.
You're alive. I think we were taking bets on whether you'd survive.
Which one
You
was?
kept asking me to take bets, and I kept saying no.
I guess Filbert would be on the losing side if he did.
I mean, I put 3-1 odds of you surviving.
Sure you did. Anyway, what's the job?
Either of you can jump in.
Yeah, if I recall, we were employed to investigate the previous mayor's murder.
Yeah, we were
And
asked to investigate it, and
who was standing to gain from it most.
yeah. So, and we
Havelock.
also, Havelock's the obvious one, and very well may be. I don't think he's above that, but we might as well check out everybody.
Yeah, but but there's always going to be a controlling interest that might have stakes in both parties.
For what Artex said, it's basically 100% Havelock.
Oh no, I'm pretty sure it's probably Havelock, but we don't want to be fixated on the one
No.
and potentially miss the other, because it may not just be him.
Yeah.
It may have been multiple people.
That is very likely.
Of which Havelock.
Alright,
the
there
consequence.
is a rail baron downstairs who is a supporter of Havelock and has met with him 7 weeks ago, I think he said.
Mm-hmm.
He's gonna come to the farm in 3 days.
Anger just kind of has been going through like newspaper clippings and whatnot, and he just kind of just stops and is like, he's what?
He's gonna come to the farm in 3 days, so we're gonna have to think up something for that.
Did you get a
Why?
name of this rail magnet?
I will recognize his face.
Wait,
You can go
why?
downstairs. He's talking with a lady called Margaret.
But why?
Fair enough.
Why?
Why?
Why? I needed to get informed. I just walked up to the first person and saw if they have something to do with Havelock, and apparently the richest person I could glance at first already did. So clearly he has some support from the rich people, and from what it seems, he has already been also promising them stuff for support. So, but I guess that's pretty usual.
That, my friend, is politics. Horse trading and deal making is what greases the wheels of this city.
Yeah, maybe a good idea. I don't know if we can investigate him further before the 3-day mark hits, but he's probably gonna come with quite a lot of armed people. But we'll figure that out then. We have 3 days to think about something.
Would you be able to describe this person? I ask the DM if you want to say that this person might be very recognizable or famous.
Top hat?
Okay.
This is Sangren has that familiar headache returning.
And he likes poop jokes.
Yeah, that's the headache. There it is. There it is.
And boob jobs?
Poop jokes.
Oh, poop jokes. Yeah, fair enough. Now, does that fit a description of anyone that might be well known?
So
I think he's downstairs. Dennis can just show you which guy it is.
Yeah, no, I was trying to recall. I'm trying to recall if I would know of a person fitting that description.
who wears a top hat and likes poop jokes?
So,
He's a rail baron. I would say rail baron.
There are many rail barons in New Corinth. So you'd have to narrow it down. If you've been keeping abreast of the guest list downstairs, you'll know 2 or 3 rail barons that are there today, using your eidetic memory. But you know one of them might be Jeffrey Tarbuck.
Can I look for the one with a partner named Marguerite?
Yeah, if that's been explained to you. If that's been explained to you.
I believe Dennis mentioned
I
the
did
name
say
Marguerite.
that he was talking with someone called Margaret.
So you may do a mind check to see if you remember, if you can put 2 and 2 together and know what kind of... Yeah, so you know he's the head of Tarbuck Rail and Steel, which is like the number 4 largest rail magnate in the Dominion, which may not sound like much, but it is basically a top 100 company in the world. So it's a very, very rich person.
Very oligarchy.
Very oligarchy. And yeah, so he's generally not someone to be trifled with. If you fuck around with him, he will generally, cut you off the knee, sort of a thing.
And I'm just going to look at Dennis and say, you got this guy. You got this guy. You're dragging this guy out into the sticks. Gee.
How bad is it?
He is one of the richest men in the Dominion. He's gonna have guards, and he's gonna be armed to the teeth.
Yeah, we'll have to think of something.
We'll burn that bridge when we get to it. First,
Yeah.
Also,
I've got a couple things. Also, add a character, Dean.
Mm-hmm.
How long has it's been? You said it like a week or two, right?
Yeah, it's been a few weeks.
Sangren would have asked Ken to. This is something I was thinking of at the end of last session, but asked Ken to kind of listen in on to kind of see if there's anything he's not telling us from outside the window.
Yeah, I mean, in general, you've been getting reports back of calls to mistresses, campaign things going on. He is deathly afraid of Havelock, which, you probably have figured out already. And he really wants to know who killed the last mayor, who was one of his best friends. He wants to know what the hell happened. And he's also wondering why you guys haven't moved on the crime scene yet. It's not been a few weeks, it's only been a few days. So he wants to know why you guys haven't gone on the crime scene yet, and is kind of worried. He has made a few calls to Swan, just to double check that you guys aren't like lunatics, to which Swan has said, yes they are, but give them a chance.
Yeah.
So...
yeah, I mean, Sangren would have been spending basically the last few days familiarizing himself with as much of the things that happened towards the end of the mayor's life, like the kind of stuff he was doing. He just basically just doing research, and now he probably feels he's got. Now that Dennis is back, he wants to start like moving.
Yeah. I'd have probably gone to investigate the crime scene and then maybe go to the records office.
Okay, so there is a rapping knock at the door. And without even anyone, opening the door, it does open, and Felix Autumn walks in, and he says, I see your the band is back together, so to speak. And he smiles nervously. He walks over to you, Dennis, and holds out his hand and says, Felix Autumn, nice to meet you.
Hello, Dennis.
Sangren's gonna give kind of like the nod of, this guy's our client. Be polite.
Yeah.
So
he's had to give this look to Dennis many times, I'm sure.
So he nods and says, I would ask you a favour. I do have a public debate with Lord Havelock in 3 days. Well, in 2 nights, actually, now. I really need some answers by then, my fellow. So if you wouldn't mind heading to the crime scene to do a bit of investigation, that would be fantastic. It is in the Helios Plaza where the crime scene is. And if you wouldn't mind, I also have a... Jeffrey. Thank you. And he takes some notes. He says, I have a writ here allowing you to examine the body of our esteemed former mayor. And he hands it over to you, Sangren. He says, just head...
hand it directly to Filiberto.
Yeah, he says, just head to that address. The body's being kept in state there. You can examine it, go over it. It's not been touched. I've been able to keep the police from... desecrating the body too much, so perhaps you can get some answers there. But I believe I've given you more than enough. I would like you to now begin your investigation, if you would.
Agreed.
We of course have already been.
Sangren has been
There is the
collecting his
esteemed
pile.
client. We already have, of course, begun the investigation.
Yeah.
You might try to watch out for a man called Georfrai Tarbek.
Tarbok, why?
Oh,
Like I said, we've already
he's
begun
with
our
Hab.
investigation.
He's a supporter in the campaign for Havelock. Further involvement is as of now not unknown, but he has been supporting him with donations.
That thieving swine! I've already paid him off to support me. And he turns round to one of his men and says, have a letter drafted up to Lord Tarbok immediately, please.
Sangren's gonna kind of stand up, fully, put his hand out. Do you really want to start a fight when we're, just before we start? We're gonna have a chance to question him.
Yeah.
Wait till after the debate, so they don't feel like they have to make drastic moves.
He nods and says, right, I will do so. On your recommendation, of course.
We've got a plan to remove him from the equation, shall we say?
I wish to know no more. I wish to know no more. Though the less I know, the better. Just go about your business, please, okay?
If we need anything particular, and I'm going to gesture towards the writ that I imagine Filiberto's, had a glance at, we'll keep in touch. And then Sanger's going to kind of finish collecting all of his papers and say, all right, Filiberto, Body, Dennis, let's go talk to Rake.
Right, maybe he found a wizard.
You never know.
Alrighty.
And I'm just going to nod to Autumn.
Okay. So, Autumn leaves you alone, in general, and lets you guys get on with your work as he goes back to his room. And, yeah, it is now up to you guys.
Cool.
What
I
are
will
you
go
gonna
investigate the body. Or
I want to go to meet
wherever.
Rake too.
do? Okay.
Yeah. Because, we did ask, we did say that we would meet Rake at the bottom, so I imagine at least Sangren's filled up on the situation.
Okay. So,
I do hope he found the wizard.
Can I bring some, of the food that they've given us from
Sure.
the hotel down for Rake and his,
sure.
Sure.
I did get that name wrong for the previous mayor. 1 second. It's Crowe. Was the name? Let me just make sure I've got it right, because that's kind of an important name to know. Let's have a look. I did just see it just then. What the fuck? What the fuck? Here we go. Jensen Crowe. That was it. Jensen Crowe. Lovely. Whack that into... There we go. Jensen Crowe is the name of the former... Oops, let me go down here. Right, so where are we going first? I think I've got it written down here. Somebody went to somewhere else. So who's going to the crime scene first?
I'll go to the crime scene because it might help with the morgue investigation. Since the body will still be preserved in relatively safe condition.
Dennis and Sangun have gone to see Rake.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, so we will do the crime scene first. So you head down to... Are you taking a carriage there? You're just going to wave down a carriage and hop in?
Yeah, I will.
Okay. So you wave down a carriage, you take your top hat off as you get in, and he takes you... you're going... he just turns around and goes, where do you want to go, sir?
Do we know what
Helios Plaza.
Yeah, Helios Plaza, please.
Yeah, he just... And off you go down through the streets. It started to rain a little bit. As you get towards Helios Plaza, you can see that the Redcoats have completely cordoned it off, and they're patrolling all the way around. People have generally lost interest. It's been a few days, but as you look into the alleyway in front of the plaza, not even an alleyway, more like a walkway, you can already see there are crimson stains all over the place, and what looks like rather large scorch marks as well. As the carriage, comes up, you pay him a couple of shillings, and he goes off into the day, and you step out and walk towards the police cordon. You are stopped by a redcoat. It says, "I'm sorry, sir, this is a crime scene, active crime scene. You have to step back."
I'm just going to be like, well, what happened here?
He says, "Sir, this is an active crime scene. We're not in the habit of discussing these things with the general public. You need to stand back, please."
Okay, I'm going to stand. I'm just going to stand there, passive aggressive. Or I'm just going to stand there and make him push me.
He says, "Sir, are you all right?"
Yeah.
You need to stand back, sir. We this is an active crime scene.
All right, I'll back off.
Thank you, sir.
I guess I would probably take a spot nearby, somewhere that I could just take notes.
As a Blackcoat, you can just walk in.
Yeah, I know. I'm basically trying to.
Okay.
Well, I just want to get off the street because I still had a redcoat uniform.
You do. If you've got it on you, that's fine. But he has seen your face now, so if you just walk in with the redcoat uniform.
Well, I wouldn't go to that officer.
Okay.
I found a different route round. I assume there's multiple routes into this square or whatever.
There are, but there's one main one around the front of the plaza, but you can only assume that all the others are also cordoned off with officers. This was the death of a mayor we're talking about, not some random Joe. So yeah, there are crime scene investigators already there, dusting stuff down, getting stuff carted away. So it's up to you. You can approach this however you want, but.
I mean, would the writ from Autumn give us?
Yeah, you could literally just walk in there with the writ if you wanted to.
Okay, yeah. Then I'll pull out the writ. I didn't realize. I thought that was a.
Yeah. So if you hold that up to me, he'll look at it and go,
"Yeah.
Oh, I'm very sorry, sir. Yes, okay, yes. Thomas, got one coming in. Just leave him to work, please. There you go, sir. He hands you it back, and
thank you.
He gets the police tape and pulls it back for you. So, the crime scene itself, the body is obviously no longer there. There is a chalk outline, though, of where the body was, and where several bodies were, what looks like. There are blood stains all over the place, and scorch marks all over the marble. So there's a marble facade to the Crown Plaza, the Helios Plaza building, and all of the white marble has been scorched down by where the actual attack took place. Are you somebody who can sense... no, you're not actually. No. So as you're walking around, you can smell in the air different chemicals. You might need to do a bit of a mind check to see what those are. But the other. Sorry, go on.
I'll go. I was going to look at the scorch marks and see if they're in a particular direction.
Okay, cool. So do a mind check. Head over there and like put your fingers and you're looking back to where it came from. Okay, so you can see that where it tends to be sequestered, not where the body is, the main body that would have been Crowe, but where his henchmen were. The explosions seem to be coming from those, from the area.
So it came from behind, basically.
Yes. One of the crime scene investigators comes over to you and says, hello, sir. Can I ask who you are?
My name's Roberto. I'm on business, and I'll pull out the writ.
Okay.
Business for a friend, shall we say.
Okay, so he looks at it and says, right, yes. Horrible business. Would you like me to show you through?
Yeah, sure, you can talk me through. Talk me through what you found so far. And I'll pull out my notebook at this point.
Okay.
I'm literally going to look like the inspectors from LA Noire right now.
Okay, yeah. You're lying, Morgan.
Yeah,
so,
press X to doubt.
Yeah. So you're just like walking around, and he says, so the body of Mr. Locke was here. He seemed to have been, well, struck in the neck and then eviscerated would be the right words. The cause of death, we think, is blunt trauma, but we're not too sure at this moment in time. You'll see if you actually see the body. The other three were, shall we say, associates of his, there to guard his person. There seems to have been what I can only term as an explosion occurring within their person that spread their person about this alleyway.
Ah.
There weren't much left of those. I can tell you that much.
Is there anything that survived the explosion?
Of them,
Yeah, of them or anything.
3 sets of ankles and feet, and nothing else.
Interesting. Have you inspected those burn marks? Have you done any chemical tests on those?
No chemical tests just yet, sir. No. But we do know that the blasts came from these bodies. So it seems that some sort of dark alchemy was used to create the blast.
Fair enough.
It occurred
Now,
at the dead of night, whilst Mr. Crowe was returning from his weekly debauch, shall we say, at the seamstresses. Aside from that, not much was seen.
Seamstresses, you say?
A local, shall we say, whore union.
Ah, okay, fair enough. They can be a feisty bunch, from what I'm told.
They've suffered recent tragedies of their own. Several girls going missing and all that. So this will be quite a blow to their reputation, I'm sure.
Yeah. May I? I'm going to. This is a little unconventional, but it's a method I've picked up over many years of expertise. So I'm basically going to rub my finger on the on some of the scorch mark and lick it.
Okay. So, do a mind check, but add your savant to it.
Alright.
Big
I think
brain.
I've been rolling savant most of the time.
So, you get a distinct taste. Let me just have a look at this here. Alright, of wolfsbane and willow bark tincture. So willow bark tincture is it's got sort of like a saltpeter that grows within infected trees. Extremely potent when mixed with the right stuff. And you think if you got a hold of somebody's blood sample and then injected them with it, they would probably explode. So if you mix this mixture with blood from a person, then re-inject it into somebody, they'd probably instantly explode. Obviously, it's not that, reliable a thing, because you need to get the blood from them in the first place, and if you're that close enough to get the blood from them, may as well just fucking kill them, So, you're not really sure why this has been a case. But,
Yeah. So I'll just point out to the investigator and say, I think this is a blood-based explosive. There's a particular chemical compound that, when mixed together, can cause the explosive results you see.
Okay.
I know it's a rather graphic. I know it's a rather grim task, but have you got any of the remaining body parts of any of the bodyguards?
Down at the morgue, yes, sir. Along with the body of Mr. Crowe.
Sure, we may wish to investigate them as well.
He says, "I will hold down the fort here, sir." Do we have clearance to start clearing things away?
I'm going to wander the crime scene a little bit further first. If there's anything else you'd like to.
Yes, sir. I'll hold off the clean-off crew.
So yeah, I'll just try to judge escape routes, possible escape routes, any other small. Basically, I'm just going to scope out the crime scene.
Yeah, so it's a crossroad. So there are generally 4 long roads to escape through, and you do know that as soon as you disappear into some of these buildings, it might be extremely hard to be tracked also. So you're thinking maybe trying to do an escape plan rewind isn't the best way to go, because you probably won't be able to get to the bottom of anything. Or it's basically futile. But from what you've gathered so far, you're pretty happy, I would say, in what you've garnered so far. This looks like it was a blood-based crime, which would point to certain members of the underworld community more than others.
Sure. Is it common with vampires to use this sort of?
Yes.
I
Well,
see.
it's not common, but in terms of blood type, things like that, a blood type crime, it would be very hard for you not to lean towards this is a vampiric in nature, or at the very least Duskfall in nature. It is a very Duskfallian way of killing somebody, doing it with magic in this way.
Yeah, but the question that I have is, so if you have such a powerful explosive that you can probably deploy very easily, why the hell would you kill them with a blunt force trauma? Surely just if you blow them up and leave no sign of the remains. Why beat them? Why club them to death when you could just blow them up?
Well, I think he said it was only Crowe was bludgeoned to death. The others just exploded.
Yeah. No, it's why blow up the bodyguards and not Crowe as well?
Well, there you go. That's a
question.
That is a question for your notebook. Yes.
Also, I'm going to say, was there any did Crowe immediately die on this spot? The spot where his bodyguards blew up.
When we arrived, sir, he had expired. Yes.
Okay. There aren't any bloody footsteps or whatever. He hadn't even attempted to stumble away or something like that.
No, it appears that it was quick, and whoever did this was very good at covering their own tracks. We have found scant evidence of footprints of any kind.
And which direction was he facing when you found him?
He looks at his own notes and starts flicking through them. We believe he was caught by surprise and looked towards the roof. If we were being... Is that right? He turns around to one of his subordinates who nods and says, yes, sir, he was... when we found him, he was lying on his back with a very surprised look on his face. And when we ran it back, in terms of trauma team ran it back, we could see that whatever had hit him or began hitting him came from above.
Interesting. Interesting indeed.
Right,
seems a lot of effort for a low-grade assassin.
So, let's cut directly to Dennis and Sangern. You've gone to find Rake. As far as you know, he is sequestered on the docks in random pubs, just going from place to place, keeping his ears to the ground. No one's generally bothered him, but as soon as you ask around for where he is, people immediately are able to point you to the Three Hounds pub. So.
Okay. I mean, Sangern would have probably, as he came out,
was that in the sewers?
He was in the sewers below, but that was when we first got to the hotel.
Yeah.
I mean, Sangern could have also just asked a random rat. It's like, hey, I'm looking for Rake.
Whether he stayed there or not is if you want to go down to the sewers, you can definitely do that.
I mean, that's where I would first check, but I would also, but if he told me he was going to be in the docks area, that's where I would go find him.
Bear in mind, the sewers of New Corinth are the catacombs, and they are vast. So if, in general, people like you are trouble, and if the ratters don't want to be found down there, you're not going to find them. And so I think we can save ourselves some time in role-playing if we say that you went down there and didn't discover anything, because they're not going to want to be found by a guy like you.
Well, I wouldn't have asked the ratters. I would have asked, some of the rats that, because I would just ask a random rat, because he told me that the ones could understand.
Yeah.
They just typically acted like they don't. So it was like, hey, we're looking for Rake.
Okay. Again, nothing happens. The rats do run away from you, but nothing really happens.
Yeah, well.
He's our friend. I mean, he works with us. I'll give you bread.
Yeah, Sangern's gonna take some of the food he's got.
He has a fancy sword.
But I mean, you said, would he have told Sangern to find him by the docks?
Yeah, he would have let you know that he would be around there somewhere. But he would also be in the sewers as well, so you did do the right thing. But if you're asking a rat on the street, there are rats in the street. If you want to ask one of them, you don't need to go to the sewers to ask a rat.
I mean, he'd probably first go to where he last saw him
Mm-hmm.
and just say, "Well, I'm gonna head to the docks. If you can, like, just kind of calling out because he figures someone is gonna hear him."
Mm-hmm.
Who I understand. It's like, we're gonna head to the docks. That's where he told me to meet him. Just let him know
All right,
that we're coming.
Let me just.
We're just talking to the darkness, and I'm gonna leave some of the food.
Oh, 76. Isn't it slash roll?
It's exclamation point.
Oh, of course it is. There we go. Okay, let's do that again.
You gotta save those bad rolls for when we're fighting someone. Or lying to someone.
Why not both?
Okay, so no rats are in the current vicinity. So you would have to probably head down but we got all day, so you can carry on doing that. You're just going to carry on trying to see if you can get one of them's attention.
Well, we're gonna head towards the docks, and then
Might be good to split up at this point, honestly.
There we go. So as you head towards the docks, and keep on murmuring that you want to speak to Rake, and you're trying to look for him. Dennis is looking at you very puzzled, like, you've said this 3 times now. Why the fucking hell are you until
who am I talking to?
Eventually you feel a tug at the lapels of your trousers, of your boots.
Yeah.
And there's a rat there, and he is like running around your foot.
I'm gonna say lead the way.
He just like scurries off and then stops, looks back at you.
I'll follow.
Scurries off and stops looking, and this is the pattern as we go towards the docklands, and eventually he leads you to the Three Hounds pub, and goes straight to a table in the farthest corner of the room, but it is actually an open air pub, so room quote unquote. It's on a little jetty that's overlooking that's overlooking the dark waters. And it's on what looks like a deck chair, but like a really old Victorian deck chair. And in his robes, with his sword across his lap, with what looks like a coconut in his hand, and from which he is sipping, is Rake. And the rat runs up, and he scratches the back of its head, and he just nods and looks over to you.
See you. Yeah, Sangard will kind of sit with him and say, "Good to see you," and then just kind of bring the satchel of food he's got. Oh.
You remembered your manners, he says as the rat tucks in. He goes,
"That's the least I can do."
They'll remember that, You'll make a friend for life, and they'll never leave you alone.
They seem like good friends to have.
Did you find a wizard?
Huh? No, sorry. No, I did try and find one, but have you tried these? And he like motions to the coconut. Fantastic.
I've not yet, but
It's expensive.
He just shrugs and goes, rats can get you money, my friend. Just, Anyway, what can I do for you?
So, we're starting to begin the investigation in earnest now that Dennis is recovered.
Aye. Recovered, are you?
I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, we can argue which one is the natural state of vampire, but it's no time for philosophy.
A self-aware vampire will wonders never cease. And he goes back to drinking from his coconut.
Anyway, did you hear of a guy called Havelock?
Havelock. Yes, in fact, yes. Manners are quite the gregarious. child of the night, is he not? Yeah, it does seem
Yes,
to
he
be
is.
a bit of a character. Moving in several of his own people into the city, most of whom are
And
of
it's as if you
the.
were talking to Arctic.
I don't know who that is, but all right.
Yeah, you'd have met him at the rail station. He's a mentor of mine.
All right, yeah. With you. Says no. Of Havelock, all I know is that he's moving people into the city at quite an alarming rate. Seems to be afraid of something, or determined for something. I don't know. I can look at him more closely if you want.
If you don't mind, I think he's our best bet at this point. You know, his
An
connections.
orphan and want to reach us quickly, just give the orphan a letter or something.
I've
It's a thing. He's literally friends with all of them.
Yeah,
Or-
imagine it like this. You have the small rats, I have the street rats.
There are a lot more rats than orphans in the city, my friend. Maybe I just send one of my
Luckily.
people to you, rather than
Luckily.
making fun of him.
I mean, your people can't talk.
Good point.
Well, not to us, anyways. I'm gonna like turn towards Dennis.
He just shrugs him. Good point. Good point. It's all right.
No.
I'll keep my ears to the ground. See what I can find for you.
We appreciate it. And Sangren's gonna gesture towards the food bag and is like, try the pastries here. It's not quite, not quite what we had, but it's not in the same general direction.
He nods and goes, all right. Where's the other one, by the way? Strange bloke.
Actually
He's
doing his job.
For once,
Wonders,
he's investigating the crime scene in the body.
Oh, yeah, should have. Didn't need to ask, really, did I?
Yeah, he's he's more medically minded than the two of us.
Has he told you he's dead?
We had noticed. We're not quite sure what we're gonna do about that yet.
Our boss didn't have him executed yet, so I think we can just leave him be.
He
We're
nods.
keeping an eye out, though.
He nods and just, right. Well, you haven't asked me how I've been. I've been fine, thank you very much.
I apologize. My manners have been slipping. I've been nose deep in research the last 3 days.
Seem to have found quite a nice bar here. But, the tastes are a bit too, duskfall for the local clientele, if you know what I'm saying. And he just, like...
Sangren's gonna take like a second look around now, and kind of just with that thought in mind.
Yeah, so people here seem to be like duskfall sailors, or at least half, just chilling out, doing their own thing. And you do get a real good sense that they're not well liked around here, But he is also not being accosted by anybody. And he says, checked out your old place the other night.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna have to. I do plan on trying to resolve that situation soon. Once we're in a better position.
He reaches into his bag. That seems to be like smells quite bad, and like picks something out. And he said, "I had to take a few hands." And he just shakes it, and it's like a human hand with like a 6th Street Crow tattoo on it, and just throws it into the water. And you can immediately see it's being snapped apart by what look like piranha-style fish that are yours.
We have met the fish before. It did not go well for us, or for the boat driver more.
He just
There's a gang war.
he says,
Yeah, the crows managed to move in while we were out in the.
"Oh, don't worry, I didn't name drop you." He gets another one out and just throws it into the waters. And no one ever comes around here. As I said, it's a duskfall place, so I thought it'd be,
Convenient.
yeah, secretive.
The rats and the gang are not knowing that gang.
What did you say?
Does that now mean that the rats and the crows are in a gang war? How does that work?
The ratters are at war with everyone, my friend. No one likes us, no one wants us. So, all
And
they...
most of you seem pretty pleasant.
Oh, thank you very much.
I mean, I met only one,
Yeah.
so maybe not most.
Most of us
Yeah,
seem to stick to our own. A lot of us are underground working for a fellow called the Crone, who is quite good to everybody and has the ear of the High King. So, a lot of us tend to be all right.
Well, yeah, I know the propaganda on those that are different can be a bit extreme, especially around here.
Mm.
You say that, but it's not like most vampires are nice.
That is not incorrect. And
Humans need to
Sangren's
keep
gonna kind of
themselves alive somehow.
Sangren's gonna like kind of have himself like a little hearty chuckle since he is kind of a self-hating vampire.
He says, so is there anything else I can do?
I mean, just keep your ears out. We're gonna not, see what we can find out on our end.
There was
Is
some
there
sort
anything you
of
need?
meeting between investors and Havelock 7 weeks ago. We know one man who was there. His name was Geoffrey. If you could maybe track down where the meeting was or what it was about, that would be nice.
He just nods and goes, Jeffrey...
Tarbuck. He has a top hat, likes bad jokes, and has a wife named Margarita or something.
He's a rail magnet.
Yes, very rich, one of the richest people in the nation.
He nods and goes, I'll see what I can find out.
Do you need anything from us? Is there anything we can do to help you? Even just, settling in?
He says,
I know you haven't been in town a bit.
Can I be honest? No, we're all good.
Well, if anything comes up, or, if any of the, locals or Blackcoats start being, start hassling you, just let us know and we'll talk to them or talk to our...
I have noticed a few of your friends following me sometimes. Especially after my little incident with the crows. He says,
Teach me how to notice them. They're pretty annoying. They're probably following us right now. Don't worry, they always follow everyone. You just probably don't notice them usually. But they're always there.
Oh, they are following us. In fact, they're sitting at that table over there. And
Yeah, there's probably even more of them. They're just always there. Don't pay them mind.
He says,
they work for our boss, so...
Actually...
I guess don't get into much trouble.
Actually, I kind of like having them around. It's like having somebody to speak to all the time. That,
yeah.
And they made sure the crows didn't come after me. So.
Always, when you notice them, always tell them. It freaks them out so much.
Angrid's having a little, having to rub his temples a little bit, yes, this is that headache again.
He's like, you might want to get some pills for that, old son.
I don't think there's anything strong enough.
He just shrugs and goes
All
back
right.
to his drink.
Well, I think we're gonna head off to meet up with Philibert to see what he's found out, and see what else we can find out.
He nods and goes, all right, well. He stands up and rolls his shoulders and throws the coconut into the water, which the fish are not interested in at all. And then kicks the rest of the sack into the water, which starts a feeding frenzy. He goes, I'll be seeing you blokes around.
Sangren's gonna say thank you, and wait, he was. I don't remember if he was into the handshaking or not. I think that kind of came up the first time we met him, but I don't really remember.
He'd probably, if you went to shake his hand, he'd probably shake it, just as
yeah. That's like kind of the Sangren style. He would definitely go for the shake.
Mm-hmm. So he moves off, and we'll head back towards the morgue, where we see Filberto in his element.
Yeah.
He has elbow-high rubber gloves on, and
Corpses
goggles,
and chemicals. I mean, that's literally his deal.
and
Yep.
goggles, and an apron,
I feel at home.
and the morgue specialist, who's in the coroner, is a bit taken aback by how comfortable and happy you are to be doing this. You know,
Excited.
he says, "Now, sir, I must say, prepare yourself. The stench is rather overpowering."
Ah, my friend, I've smelt worse.
It-
Much worse.
Does your nose even work properly now that you're dead?
I guess it would, but I am still just gonna say that I would still say that I smell worse because all the weird shit that I've been on over the many years.
Indeed. So he takes out, goes to one of the wall ensconces and opens it up, and pulls out a tray, a sliding trolley, and on it is the body of Crowe. He looks like to be in his middle ages, around 45. He has a balding head of black hair. Obviously, he's been dead for some days. And what you can tell as you poke around the body is there are 2 fang marks on his neck. And there are several dents in the bone structure where a blunt object has been smashed into him a few times. One of the things that you do notice, actually, in fact, do a mind check for me, but do savant and add 2 dice to it as well, because you're really in your element here.
Big brain time.
Oh my
Not.
god. So you only need 4s though, don't you? So you know.
Okay.
That is a terrible roll. I have to say.
I know,
1,
right?
2, 3,
That's
4,
really bad.
5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you do find that he has been exsanguinated. He has no blood at all.
I'll point this out to the morgue technician. And say, I assume he hasn't been autopsied yet.
Not yet. So we're waiting from somebody from your organisation to arrive to oversee the process.
Gotcha. You realise this guy doesn't have any blood, right?
I'm surprised you could tell that just by looking at him, sir. You must be an expert in your field.
Yeah, so I'll just point out the bite marks and say, this will be the injection site, and I'll just gesture to him. This will be likely how he was
Injection?
trained. Well, whichever the word.
He says, "Well, what about
puncture site?"
Okay, so do another. Are you gonna continue examining the body? I'm guessing.
Yeah, I am.
Okay, so do another mind check for me. Same as
With the
before.
bonuses or not?
Yeah, with the
Okay.
bonuses. Yeah.
I might fucking need it.
No.
Okay, that's much better.
So, as you poke around the body, you find several puncture wounds that look like they're from needles, hypodermic needles, all over his arms and in the major arteries of his groin area, his wrist, his neck.
Now, teeth or needle marks?
Needle, not teeth.
Okay. Interesting.
The
how
coroner
recent do they look?
leans down and says, Mr. Crowe was not known for having an opium addiction or any sort of heroin addiction. I wonder what
How
this is.
recent? I'm going to judge how recent do those injuries look.
With that roll, you would say they happened at time of death.
Okay. Interesting. So it looks like a vampire fed on him, and then somebody extracted his blood. Interesting.
How would they have time to do that, sir? From a hit in the middle of town?
Well, it's in the dead of night, was it not?
It was, but you would assume an explosion of that kind would have woken half the neighbourhood.
maybe most of his treatments, well, maybe some of the treatments weren't all at the same time. Maybe those wounds are fresh when he died.
He says, "This seems like Duskfall mischief to me."
Perhaps. Now, I'm going to check his back.
Okay.
I'm going to ask, can I turn him over?
Yeah. So they can turn the body over.
Yeah, because I want to see if he's got any signs of scorch marks.
He does. On one side, so it looks like the backs of his arms, and the sides of his back on either side have scorch marks. So it looks like where his bodyguards were standing is where the scorch marks are coming from, and it does look like his ribs are broken from a concussive force rather than a smash force. So a concussive force broke his ribs on both sides.
Yeah. I'm gonna, I guess, prod the ribs a bit and see if it was like something that would be a fatal.
No, it wouldn't have been very painful, but not fatal. It would have debilitated him though. He would have been on the floor, writhing in pain.
Ah, gotcha.
Not a good way to go.
So the blunt force trauma wouldn't have been the thing that killed him initially.
Initially, no.
It might have been a subsequent blunt force trauma that would have killed him.
Yes. Yeah, so
And
the
where
stuff
was that
around
subsequent?
the head and the shoulders definitely would have been enough to at least knock him out, but maybe create brain hemorrhaging, which would have led to death. But you know, he also has no blood, so there's that as well.
Hard to hemorrhage with no blood.
Interesting. I'm also going to say, I have a theory that I want to try out. Do you have any of the remains of the bodyguards?
I do, yes. Another sack. Why?
We need to run a blood test on those remains. I want to confirm my suspicion.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. What are you hoping to do?
I want to confirm if there's any residue of that highly explosive still in the blood.
Okay, so you're taking the blood out the feet and
Yeah, I'm taking what's left, basically.
Yeah.
To see if there's any remnant.
There is, yes. So as you run your tests, there are definite leftover trace elements of whatever agent was used to make their bodies detonate. There are definite pieces of residue there. One other thing you do find in the effect of the mayor himself is a rather small letter in Duskfallian manuscript cuneiform. And it looks like this is a very old language that was used as a cipher. And the coroner says, yes, we've not been able to decipher that, sir. It seems like gibberish. We think it's something to do with the whorehouse he went to, perhaps an invitation of sorts. But we don't know what it is.
Maybe he had a deal with someone, perhaps.
Would you like to do a mind roll to
Yeah,
see if
sure.
you can... Alright, do it again.
I'm going to write it down firstly.
Yep.
That'll be the first thing. I'll just write it down as is straight into the notebook.
Yep.
If you've got that at all, feel free to write that out.
Mhm.
I will add that.
Okay, so a lot of this is just general chanting and weirdness. That's kind of gibberish, but there is a phrase that is repeated it comes up in the center of the page, and it's this. And it's by this person.
H. Interesting. Watch for the seventh son. He means you harm. I'm going to look at the coroner and say, you wouldn't happen to know anything about a seventh son?
No, sir. No, I do not.
Yeah, I took a note. I'm gonna write down exactly every word on that note, regardless of whether I can understand it or not.
Okay.
I'm gonna transcribe the original.
So what we got here?
Just to see Sangern's comment, I'll make a copy of it. I won't take the original.
Okay. Brilliant.
Now, does it look like it has a seal or anything on it?
No. No.
Okay, so it's just a plain letter, other than the fact that it's in Duskfallian script.
Mm-hmm.
Is it a horrifically different script to the common?
Yes, it is an ancient cuneiform script. You only know it because you're a nerd who likes things like that. So yeah, you're essentially you learn these things in the Chamber of Vigilance.
Yeah. That'd be some Valentian scholars sitting there arguing about this over some wine and cheese.
Mm-hmm.
I bet in the tower sort of thing.
Yeah.
Into the dead of night.
Exactly. So, what else are we looking for?
I think that's basically it. I just want to look at the blunt force trauma that would have killed him. Does it look like it was a particular size?
Yeah, it looks like it generally hand-sized, but whatever is doing it, it has real upper body strength to be able to do this.
Just on a comment on the handwriting, is it really obvious? Like, is it shaky or is it very cursive?
It's very cursive, very calm.
Okay. So I am going to try to copy that out as best I can.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to try to keep it as verbatim. I'm literally going to try to make as close to a bona fide copy as I can make.
Okay.
If you want me to roll mine to see how good the copy is.
No, it's fine. It's fine. You can write
Trace it
quite easily.
Yeah, trace it basically.
Okay.
And I'll see. Does the mayor have anything else on his person? Any personal or sentimental items that might have survived?
Generally things that we didn't really see as pertinent to the investigation, sir. A few effects relating to his wife and his children. That's essentially it, sir.
May I have a look?
Yes, of course you can. So he does seem to be right. You know, these are just pictures of his wife and kids, essentially.
I just want a picture of a name and a face. I don't care much about anything.
You have an
else.
eidetic memory, so you can choose to remember that stuff if you want to.
Yeah, it's a case that I'll memorize that. I just want to see a face. I want to see the face and go, this is this person. This is who they relate to. Because if we ever see them again...
Yeah.
We know their relation to this.
Okay.
Since I wouldn't have recognized the mayor's wife, necessarily. Or kids.
Alrighty. Okie dokie. Awesome. Right, so... would you guys, as in Filberto and Dennis, would you guys go and find... sorry, I was in Dennis and Sangam. Would you go and try and find Filberto at the coroner's office to try and see what he's done, or do you guys have plans of your own?
I mean, we didn't examine the crime scene on our own yet, right?
Not yet, no. I think
that would
where
be
you...
probably good to do first, considering
What
a different
figure on the way
perspective.
back.
Once you get there, because Filberto gave them the go-ahead, they are scrubbing down the crime scene. Because they do need the plaza back. It's been 3 days. So, yeah, it's now highly contaminated. So you could try and look at what's there, but even the burn marks are coming off the walls.
We'd still spend a little bit of time just kind of getting a feel for...
Interesting. Could we maybe follow where they are taking the stuff they're throwing out? Because I'd imagine that the perpetrator could have ends among the people cleaning the place.
Well, these are official, like, state. You know what I mean? Like these are guys who work for the city, so they're just cleaning stuff off. They look like normal muckamucks, really. Not the actual muckamuck, but you know what I mean.
I was about to say. Muckamuck did not look normal.
So they're just spraying everything down.
We're talking about mayoral candidates, so... But yeah, but I guess but might send an orphan or to follow them to see where the stuff is disposed.
Yeah, okay.
In case we need to have a second look.
Well, you can see most of it's coming off with acid is just being swept into the gutters. So, Like it's not. There's nothing physically there anymore. It's just like stains that they're getting rid of. So anything physical will probably be at the coroner's office.
Oh, okay. Go to the coroner's office.
Yeah, I mean, Sangren's still gonna kind of, you know, take a, kind of walk it, and take a look around and just see what they say. You know, he'd come up to them and say, "We're under orders from, Autumn to investigate."
Yes, sir. One of your number has already been here today. Is there anything I can do for you?
Just kind of, we want to take, kind of get a second set of eyes on it and see what if we can figure out anything. He's our more, he's more on the forensic side. We're more on the, so we should say the tactical side.
He nods and says, I know what you mean, sir. Most of the debris has already been removed to the coroner's office. I believe that's where your colleague was headed to. This is generally just normal staining, and I think he already took samples.
Okay, well we're still going to take a look around. If you could walk me through what you know of the attack.
So he lets you know exactly, what Filberto was told, and you receive exactly the same information of what he was told.
So he said they were looking just from before. I'm trying to remember. He was potentially looking up at a roof, right?
Yeah.
Sangren, Sangren's just gonna kind of also use his more vampire-y senses to kind of smell around and see if there's anything he notices.
Right.
But he definitely wants to head up to the roof.
Do a roll to stoke the blood as you're heading up. Because you're not smelling anything really. But there's a definite whiff that you want to get a hold of whilst you're walking up.
Yeah. 1 second. Ooh. Mind and Devil Blood.
Alright, so you're getting almost like a trail of scent, of blood scent of another vampire. Seems very, very, very strong, to the point that, a vampire that leaves behind this kind of a signature from the street to the roof of the Helios Plaza would be ancient and powerful. Extremely so.
Sanger's gonna kind of motion to Dennis and glance at the roof and just kind of tap his nose, kind of like a,
As soon as he does that, Dennis, if you even try to sniff it, you sniff it as well. Like it's like a really strong metallic odor.
So Dennis would whisper to Simon, so I guess we're following the trail for now?
I guess so. Sangren is in his leathers, armors, and he's got it. He's picked up. I mean, I imagine they almost certainly would have armed before we left. The hotel was holding on to some of our weapons, right?
No, you can have whatever weapons you want from the hotel. It's fine.
He doesn't have. Oh, actually, no. I got my fancy sheath, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess I have my gun glaive or gun blade with my fancy sheath, but he's gonna loosen up his weapons and his sheaths as we're heading up here, just in case.
Okay.
Yeah. Dennis would probably grappling hook the roof at this point to get up there to follow the trail.
Yeah. So
Sangren's gonna say, be careful. I'm gonna take the stairs just in case.
So you just head up there arm over arm rather than using your legs. So your upper body strength's you're all quite light as well. So you're just like up you go, like a little. As you get to the top, the scent is overpowering up here, and you can even see there are footprints in that look like they're on the marble. That are in scorched blood. Looks like it's been burned into the marble, and if you reach down and touch it, you do get a real sense of the vampire who did this was way beyond what you're capable of right now. Way beyond.
A good time to use my ferrite chisel to maybe chisel out one of the footprints to just take away a brick of marble.
You can do that, yeah. Yep, it takes you about an hour, but you can definitely chisel it free. And Sangren is up there. You can ask Sangren. You can ask what the hell's going on if you want to.
Sangren. I mean, it would kind of get a similar sense of what's going on there too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sangard's gonna take a little bit of look around to see if there's any other, things, maybe in case there's reagents from using the magic or any alchemy or anything, and then he would definitely um, give Dennis a hand with the footprint.
I mean, there could be a trail to follow, so maybe you could follow that.
Would you want Sangard to help, or would you want Sangard to start on the trail?
Dennis would probably prefer you start on the trail because the longer it lingers, the more it goes away, and he's just collecting evidence, really.
Yeah. All right, Sangard's gonna start the trail, but he's gonna be going very, very cautiously on this trail.
Okay.
Like, he's making side trips and such, so he's not following it directly because he doesn't want, anyone to know he's following it if he can avoid it. And
Okay.
yeah.
So, as you are following the trail off the rooftop, as you get to the edge of the rooftop, it disappears. And when I say it disappears, it doesn't naturally ebb away. It's like somebody's cut it with a pair of scissors, like with a pair of shears. It's gone. And there's nothing there. So, the only thing that could really panic you even more about how powerful this vampire is if they were able to mask their scent that's so strong so quickly. And they literally could be anywhere at this point.
So yeah, there's no trail for me to follow.
No.
Even if I use like double-blooded senses.
No, even if you do that, you can. In fact, you know what? That's unfair of me. Why don't you roll and we'll see.
If I get 6 6s.
Well, yeah, we'll see. It's a mathematical possibility.
There'll be some cursed dice there.
Oh my god! I got 3
Oh shit!
and a 5.
And a 5. Okay. You can.
Didn't we say something about the 3 6s? Oh no, that's if you're rolling 3 dice and get 3 6s. That's what it was.
You can feel the presence of a mind somewhere in the city that is extremely surprised by your intrusion. And
Oh no. This might be the end of Sandgren.
and is almost amused. You almost feel like you can sense a female chuckling in your ear. And whatever this thing is, doesn't seem to be tied to a corporeal form.
That's not good.
So they're either projecting their own mind around the place, or are not of this world.
Much more concerning.
Well, do you tell that to Dennis?
Sangren's gonna have to take a moment to probably recover from this situation.
Yeah.
Kind of like, it kind of stumbles back and stops reaching out. Most likely.
Mm-hmm.
And then, yeah, after he's taken a moment, it's like, so, yeah, we may be in slightly over our heads here, even more than usual, and then explain what he just felt.
So it's a vampire lady that's a floating delocalized brain, but also somewhere in the city and very strong. So I guess Havelock's boss?
I don't think this is like a particular person's boss. I think this is like ancestor level.
Yeah, probably Havelock's ancestor. I wonder if we trace back to it. That does sound a bit above our pay grade, yes. Maybe let's go talk to Artek. I did probably by this point cut out the marble. You take it to Artek, I'll go maybe talk to Filberto.
From down below, you hear a voice saying, "Sirs, are you up there? Hello?"
Sangren's gonna kind of lean over and nod down to him.
He says, "I have a message here from a Mr. Swan." You're to meet him at the Arthak residence. He said the messenger said you'd know what that meant.
Absolutely. Thank you. And then Sangren's gonna head out and like he's gonna take or he's gonna say all right, do you want to send someone to run and grab Filberto and just have him meet us there?
I don't think I'll get him quickly myself. If sorry, maybe I'll carry him or something.
Don't want to be late for Swan.
We can
Yeah.
we can skip that scene, guys, if you want to, rather than just
I kind of want to. I almost.
Everything.
I want to skip it, but I also kind of want to have that, that at least a description of Dennis running through this small man running through the street carrying this scholar.
So Filberto, do you fill Dennis in when he gets to you? Know about what you found?
Yeah, I'll fill him in. But I will look a little bit sad that I have to leave. I'll look a little bit crestfallen that I
Body's
have to
gonna
leave.
be there when you get back. It's a body. It's not going
Maybe
anywhere.
ask if you can take it with you. I don't know.
I don't know that's gonna work. But
Yeah,
I'll say
it's gonna wait here
I'll
for
say
you.
I've got what I need, and I'll pull out my notebook.
I'm really
Okay,
glad
so
Sangren wasn't there
what
for that
did
comment.
Filberto get again? Explosive blood poison?
Yeah, explosive blood poisoning. That he didn't die. That he didn't die of the explosion, but of subsequent injuries. He was drained of blood, probably from the vampire bite. But there was also a lot of needle
Alright,
marks.
yeah, there is this Eldritch Vampire thing. It has no body. It relieves bloody fat holes in marble when it walks over it, and it's a lady.
Eldritch Vampire, you say?
Yes, it has no body. It's a delocalized presence. So that makes it hard. How do we even stab it?
Okay, so my
Not fight,
first
just stab.
question is, why did it blow up the body? How did it blow up the bodyguards?
How the fuck am I supposed to know that?
Was it acting alone? Is the question.
No, it's clearly the boss of Havelock.
Well, and I'll pull out the letter and say, this is what I found on the body.
Okay, so
This is what I've
seventh
managed to
son.
This is what I've managed to decipher.
Ah, got it. Vampire, probably a vampire dynasty. It's probably a matriarch, and the seventh son is probably her seventh son or something. Might be Havelock, might be someone else.
That's who this hate is. And also,
Hate.
who might know?
Oh wait, I have a oh wait, no, never mind.
Who might be a scholar of obscure Duxphalian literature?
Oh, the rat. He was hanging out at the Duskfallen bar. You can
Yeah,
just
Rat has a name, okay? That's racist.
right.
Yeah,
Right,
Rake.
right. What was his name? Rake. Wait a second, and Dennis would go maybe while they run, try to find some rats.
Yeah, but this is going to be something that would require a scholar of many years of training. This is
I
the
would-
kind of thing professors in the towers of
What?
Valentia would be.
I think you have noticed that Rake has a lot of weird abilities, from being a tapper to wielding
sure
the sword.
Rake might.
I would
I
not
thought you were
underestimate his weird abilities.
I thought you were implying that we'd find somebody at the spot where Rake was, rather than. Okay,
No,
fair enough.
like he clearly has some Duskfall ties.
Fair enough. Yeah. Also, I will point out that he was killed in the front. So yeah, something faced the roof. Something jumped on him, basically.
Yeah, we investigated that.
Yeah.
The marble footprints thing.
Yeah, and there seems to be a blood-based explosive. This is why I was a bit surprised that it's just a. Yeah, why would an Eldritch vampire want to blow up living food? Why would it try to blow up its own food source?
Because it doesn't need it, clearly. Maybe in insufficient quality?
Okay, so let's move on.
Yeah.
So you guys are on your way to meet with what be Sangern, heading towards Swan. So
On the way, just real quick, on the way, Sangren would mention to some of the rats, and with a bit of put a bit of food out, and mention some of the rats to let Rake know about the potentially very super dangerous Eldritch Vampire lady, because I don't want Rake getting killed because he just had no idea what he was poking his head into.
Okay, so you're just gonna like let some of the rats know that you passed that.
But I'm
Shit's
gonna
hitting
buy
the
him
fan.
a pastry.
Okay, you're gonna do what? Sorry.
I'm gonna buy him a pastry.
Oh, you're gonna buy him
The rat.
pastry, right? Okay,
Oh,
cool.
I'm gonna buy
I'm
the pastry,
gonna
give it to the
also-
rats, and tell them what to tell. Kind of duck into an alleyway.
Okay.
Tell them what to tell Rake.
Okay.
I'm not gonna have them do it for free.
No, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. They run off with a bit of pastry each. That's fine. It's all good. Alrighty.
I'd say what I written, by the way, about the thing that maybe it only drank to Filberto, that maybe only she drank the blood from the mayor, because she or he or whatever can obtain information by drinking blood, or maybe mimic the appearance of someone by drinking blood. Basically, only the blood of the important guy was for some reason valuable to her.
Would that be in keeping with any of our previous knowledge of vampires?
Yeah, older vampires, yeah, probably.
And we have very little knowledge of vampires quite that intense.
Yeah, the localized floating mind is a bit above our pay grade.
Oh, yeah, no, I was seeing if there'd been any legends of that happening before.
Disembodied presences that could burn holes in marble.
Oh,
I know who to ask.
Not the disembodied presences, the fact that vampires could feed and keep the memories or the appearance of the people they feed on.
But that's why we're going to the experts.
Yeah, it makes sense.
all
No,
the
I
stores?
was just trying to remember. I was just trying to remember if that would be something. Trying to work out if that'd be plausible in the first case.
Okay. So, when you guys get back to Arthak's residence, Arthak is standing outside, and Sangern, he nods to you and says, "All right, old boy, your boss seems a bit perturbed."
Sangern is definitely looking a little worse for wear after his whole... paler than normal.
And in fact, you look like a piece of shit as well.
We've had some interesting developments, to say the very, very least.
Yeah, Eldritch Vampire.
So-
Nobody might steal memories.
Dennis and Filberto just come around the corner as Dennis just says that as he's coming around the corner. And Arthak just blows air out of his cheeks and says, "Right, I think it's time for a pint. Lock up after you guys, will you?" And he chucks the keys to you, Sangern, and walks off.
Is Arthur not staying?
No.
Oh my!
Because Sangern, because Arthak is chamber is from the same chamber, the vampire hunting chamber.
Yes.
So he would actually want Arthak to stay. To say, hey, whatever we're hunting, it's at least partially vampiric. It might be useful to have your insights on this.
He looks very reluctant and just says, If you're sure, I'll stay.
I mean, I can fill you in later if you need.
He probably
Sorry, go
knows
ahead.
what we're doing. Alright, the room is protected, right? So it probably doesn't.
No, it's warded, so he's probably, He heads in anyway. He gets his keys back and walks in.
And as he's coming through, I'm gonna just kind of say, sorry, I know it's a lot.
He just shrugs, says, No, it's fine. Don't worry about it. Once you guys are inside, you see Swan sitting at the couch, and the table in front of him, and he's got a cigar, and he's smoking the cigar, and he says, "Good day."
And Sangern's gonna give him like kind of the, not quite, the sort of saluting nod, like military nod kind of thing.
He says, "First of all, thank you, Master Arthric, for allowing me to use your warded presence for this." And Arthric just gives him a nod and goes and stands quite far away from you three, but starts like just pouring himself a drink. He says, "Anyone want a drink?"
I'll have one.
Sangern's gonna put his hand up, which is odd for Sangern.
He pours 2 whiskeys and he looks at you, for, Dennis.
Yet, maybe.
Okay. So he did you say you wanted a drink?
I said not yet.
Okay, cool. So like he says, he pours another one and says, "More for me," and gives you two a drink, and then goes. He stands quite far away, so like he's not really in the conversation. He's looking out the window.
Yeah.
And Swan says, "You three may want to take a seat."
Okay.
Yep.
So,
Angren's gonna take a seat. Yeah.
how do I put this? Since you three have returned to the city, young women have been found, shall we say, slaughtered in the same way that they were at the library. And he just shrugs and looks around at you and says, "Do you, before I go any further, have anything you would wish to confide in me as your immediate superior?"
I was locked up here for the last few days.
We've not really left the hotel. We've been
Yeah.
doing research and preparing.
Oh,
Good.
right, we
This
found,
is the first time we've been out, actually.
Yeah.
Good.
we found an Eldritch Vampire which can delocalize its body and probably steal the memories of people whose...
Alright,
blood
alright.
injuries.
One fucking shitstorm at a time. Okay?
Yeah, but that seems related.
He gets out of his pocket. He gets a map of the city and rolls it out on the table. Weighs it down with with his tumbler full of whiskey. It says, "You can see here," taps a couple of times, "the library that has been pulled down in your absence. That is where the first body was found when you returned to the city. Here is where our next one is. And the next one. And the next one. And the next one. 4.
Sangren's kind of like going up over and like kind of looking pretty intently. And do they all have notes on them similar to this for 2?
Number 1. I. Number 2. Can you see a pattern emerging here?
Like a pentagram?
No.
A chessboard?
A direct line from the library to the Charlton Hotel. And from the Charlton Hotel to the Helios Plaza. And then back to the library again.
That
When were
forms
the
a
last
triangle.
2?
I don't get it.
We have a line of corpses from... Okay, when I stopped counting, you know, because you guys, you know, jumped in, but he counted at least 15 bodies there. He says there is a... almost like a triangle going from here, the library, down to the Helios Plaza, and then across to the Charlton Hotel, and then back to the library again, almost in like a triangle. And he says, funny thing is, when we look into similar killings that are not on this route, this happens. And he shows you more bodies. He starts like filling them in. From a piece of paper he's got in his hand and starts filling them in. Around the triangle. Until you see what looks like a 7-pointed star.
Similar to the one we found in the jail?
Very similar.
Exactly similar?
I wouldn't say it's Yellow
Almost.
King similar, no. No. I wouldn't say it's Yellow King. It is definitely sort of demonic in nature, though.
Does it look like an incomplete version of one of the symbols we've seen?
Perhaps, but doesn't look like the symbol of the King in Yellow. I have to stress that.
Yeah.
Doesn't look like it's from the King in Yellow.
Because we had a couple of symbols we've seen through our time in the prison.
Yes, yeah, you did see. So people use pentagrams and all different kinds of things. This doesn't look like a pentagram, but it does look like a sort of a vampiric symbol.
So heptagrams are vampiric?
No, not pentagram specifically.
No, but
Would I be able to remember that?
vampires are born of demon blood, though. So,
Alright,
yeah.
right, right.
Would it be something that, since Sangren would have been, pretty studious in his training, is it something that he might have seen in his training years?
probably not. This looks pretty new to you. But Swan does say these murders are picking up in pace.
Have you checked the center of the formation?
We are checking it every day. The only
What
thing.
is there?
This is a doozy. The Crown Prince Theatre, where your debate will happen this evening.
Maybe move it somewhere else? That doesn't sound like a good idea suddenly.
I have asked both parties to move it elsewhere. They have both refused.
What's under the theater?
As far as I know, basements.
Have you considered blowing it up before the debate? Like a minor terrorist attack? I mean, it does seem rather important to prevent that, considering one of the candidates is a vampire. And we have a satanic demonic symbol, and another case with a vampire which killed the previous mayor.
Here is my thinking. If we wish to avoid a panic in the most populous city in the world, blowing up the residence of the mayoral campaign after the brutal murder of the last mayor would not be a good way of going about doing that. What I would suggest in this sort of a situation, if we can see the trap, then let's spring it. If we know what's coming, we can spring it.
Sangren's gonna he's just gonna kind of follow the lines and try to follow the pattern and kind of try to bring Filiberto in.
Yeah.
To see if they can guess where the next killings are gonna be. Because,
I
Yeah,
mean,
there
we
are
could
like
spring the
daggers on-
trap, but that would only work if we actually have the manpower to kill the thing. I don't know, maybe fill the air with silver dust or something? I
How
don't
about
know.
we try
This
to disarm the
situation
trap?
doesn't look good.
Because it's likely whatever is going to be waiting for that moment to strike. So it's either going to be in the crowd or it's going to be out of the way.
I mean,
Well, hold on one second. First of all, Swan, before we try to spring this trap, I think we need to explain just what we found at the crime scene. Cause, and then he's gonna go into and get Arthur's attention and really go into detail about what he saw, just because he's worried that Swan is underestimating our opponent severely.
He nods and says, I can get you full agency support for this. We will have every Blackcoat I can spare of the Chamber Sanguine with you, and a few of the Chamber Diabolus, to make sure things either go off without a hitch or that we are able to find the perpetrator. But whatever happens, I believe doing something to that building will only drive our quarry below ground again. We need to catch them
is
out
there
in the
a way
open.
to somehow safeguard at least the mayoral candidate? No, maybe we can at least get him to wear some silver armor or something, or some sort of black coat relic.
Perhaps, but I
really
do
prevent
believe your bleeding heart, Mr. Dennis, is getting in the way of your judgment.
I thought this was our job to get the guy not killed. I mean, it's not like I care
Mayoral
about him.
candidates come and go,
Oh, okay.
but the
Fair
state
enough.
must remain. And
So-
what you have presented to me is a threat to that state.
Oh, yeah, okay, fair enough.
Can we see all the notes that were left?
Yeah. So he has transcripts of them, and they are chess moves.
Yeah, I assume that Arthek has a chessboard. Higher class than.
Yeah. He definitely has a chessboard. Yeah.
I want Filiberto and Swan. I want to actually play out the game with Filiberto and Swan looking.
Yeah.
and kind of see. I mean, Sangren probably wouldn't get much from it. I imagine Arthek tried to teach him chess, and it's just not for Sangren.
Mm-hmm.
But Arthek, Sangren, or Arthek, Swan, and Filberto, he wants to play that through and see, and just make sure that like the handwriting, well, actually it's transcript, so never mind.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, just with that combined with the pattern on the map that we've gone from the killings.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we didn't show them the marble footprint thing yet.
Oh, that probably would have come out while we were talking about the.
Yeah,
vampire.
that's one of the things that got him riled up, essentially. But yeah, you can do that. So you place the chessboard near the map and start making your moves as they are dictated to you chronologically through the bodies and the notes that were left.
Mm-hmm.
And you do start to see a very similar pattern playing out. It's hard to do it word for word, but with Filberto's eidetic memory, Filberto, you can see almost exactly the same movements of where the bodies are being left. And this chess game does appear to spell out the same symbol as you're playing it.
Well, the
I'm going to turn
seven-pointed star.
Yeah, I'm going to turn to Sangren, or to, why do I keep calling other people me? I'm going to turn to Swan and Filberto and just say, what move would you make next?
Yeah. So for this, Arthak walks straight over and says, Queen's Gambit. He points down towards the board. Says he takes the Black Queen and then kills the opposition king with it. Game over.
Interesting.
So in what position would the pieces be when that happens? Maybe that's not the center of the formation.
So Swan leans over and says, Queen's Gambit generally is when the queen appears from nowhere to strike at the end of the game. So if we were to triangulate where the queen starts on this board with the map of the city, whoever the assassin is would be somewhere in the Portland district. But I have Blackcoats in plain clothes there. We have seen nothing of the sort going on.
Nothing short of Diabolus is going to have any way of finding her. I only found her by luck. My connection's not as strong as it could be.
He nods and says, I will get people from the Chamber of Diabolus to lock it down. But tonight we need to be at the Prince Royal. All of us.
Yeah, Sangren's kind of just trying to is there anything else we have about the body?
I think Filberto's already passed that information across.
Yeah.
Did we say about the seventh sun thing?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, then nothing.
Did you show the note?
Yeah, I would have shown the note and see if Swan would
question.
recognize.
Dean,
Mm-hmm.
because I do recall a note that was previously passed that was signed H. Is it a similar handwriting?
To the stuff that is on the on the paper, no.
I mean from when after the whole to the note that I was sent by Havelock that was signed H.
Mm-hmm.
Is it a similar handwriting to that?
Yes. Yes.
So so when
In fact, do a check for me. Do a mind check for me, but add five dice to it because you already have the evidence right in front of you.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's not bad.
yeah. As far as you are aware, this is the same person.
I'm gonna I'm gonna kind of stop on that. And it's like, hey, you found this on the body?
Yeah.
I know this handwriting. This is Havelock's handwriting.
Interesting. Now, do you know who he might be referring to as the seventh son?
I'm gonna turn towards Swan and Arthek.
Swan shrugs and says, this is the first time I've heard that name. And Arthak just, again, shrugs, yeah. Just...
This might be something worth looking into any of our archives that might be connected to the symbol, the seventh son in the symbol. But I don't think Havelock was trying to kill the mayor.
No,
And
I think that was a warning.
Arthak says, how can you be so certain? Perhaps somebody gotten a hold of Havelock's handwriting and has forged this somehow. I mean, you can do this, can't you, Master Filberto? I'm not saying you're involved at all, but you could do this if you wanted to, you know.
Not easily. I'm not so well I couldn't make a script like this. This is some ancient Duskfallian stuff. You'd need to get a Valentian professor to spend 20 years studying how to perfect their handwriting to be as good as this.
Can I use my vampiric sensing to see if there's any of scent from Havelock on the note still?
I got a copy, so it's not the original.
Oh right, yeah. I think I might need to go take another look at that note directly then. Maybe I can pick something up from Havelock off of it.
Sure.
You can.
At least
we can just fast forward to where the request has been sent by Swan. He is a lead Blackcoat, you know, so he can just get it delivered here in a bag.
Because I mean, you know, it would be nice to have one more ally.
Okay, so when it gets there, you do a vampiric check for me, the stoking of the blood.
Yep. I'm doing a lot of checks today.
You sure do like stoking the blood.
I don't usually. I've done it more times this session now with this check than I have in I think the rest combined.
Yeah, usually I do the vampire stuff.
Oh, that was not good.
You got time. You can just do another one. There's no.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Sangren still.
You do get hungrier. You do get hungrier by 2. But every failed one you do. But you're not.
I'm gonna say Sangren. Yeah, Sangren's thrown by the. He still can smell the footprint, so he's gonna kind of put the footprint away a little bit. Because he's gonna say that's throwing him off. I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
That it's throwing Sangren off.
You can go again. You can go again. Like there's no time limit. But there's another 2, so that's 4. 4
maybe
stress.
I should take over, considering I see him failing.
Yeah, no, Sangren's. I think Sangren is just kind of his concentration is messed up from this whole thing. Wow, guys. I want to do one more. Kind of like letting other people. Okay. That's better.
So
finally,
you can definitely smell Havelock on this. Yes, faint as it is, but it is there.
Yeah, so like Sangren does the first 2 attempts and just kind of like smacks his face, drinks the rest of the whiskey, and then just like really focuses. And finally gets it. And it's like, okay, so he kind of has to sit down afterwards. Like, this was definitely Havelock. At least it was in his possession.
Okay, then this makes no sense. So there's 2 mayoral candidates, and something's gonna attack both of them.
I don't think this has to do with the election itself. I think the election just happens to be. I think whatever this is the election is just something that's also a good, you know, it maybe an opportunity to add on to whatever the original plan was. But I don't think this is, you know, I think if it's, you know, he's gonna turn towards Swan and Arthur. I think I need to go talk to Havelock.
Okay, so Havelock, Arthak just shrugs and says it's not his investigation, but Swan does nod and say, he leans on his cane and says, I do believe I can get you a audience before we commence with the debate.
If you, I mean, I've worked with him before. He knows who I am.
He nods and says, we have today to plan. I will send out my messengers already. I will get everybody in place. But something is going to go awry tonight. But well, I can tell you one thing. I believe you have nothing to do with this. Partly because you're all too fucking moronic to pull something like this off. Secondly, I also believe you are good Blackcoats.
I mean, we weren't even here for like half a year.
He shrugs.
Sangren is just gonna kind of nod at your good Blackcoats, kind of appreciatively.
I'm gonna chuckle smugly.
Even if some of you are more insolent than others.
Understatement.
Looks like Gilberto.
Filiberto looks at Dennis. I'm just kidding.
So, we can leave it there. I'm aware that a few of you are ill. But when are you guys available next? Because we're about to go into a rather big showdown. So, weekend. You guys available the weekend at some point?
I'm actually going on a work out of town for work from Tuesday to Tuesday.
Next Tuesday to next Tuesday. Right.
Yeah, this upcoming Tuesday I'm gone for a full week.
Cool.
I don't think I have anything going on the next weekend.
All right.
I'm looking at the wrong month. Hold on. 16th, 17th. I don't think I have anything going on those days.
Okay. So we will try and organise something for the weekend then, and get this part finished, and then you're good to go. All right.
All right.
All right.
All right.
Cheers. Fun.
Yeah, we'll get on it at the weekend, and we'll see where this goes, because it looks like shit is about to hit the fan.
So this weekend?
This weekend sounds
Not
good.
this weekend. No, I'm gone for this weekend.
Oh, you're gone for this weekend. Okay.
I'm out of town for work from Tuesday to Tuesday, so I'm going to be working the whole time.
Right.
It's the weekend after that I should be able to make some time work. 'Cause next weekend is... Oh, wait. Yeah. Or, no, sorry. This weekend is in the second? Or the first or second?
Yeah, that would be the second and
and
third. That's what we were talking about, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, let me get back to you, because I know I have something with Natalie's family on Saturday.
Yeah.
I think we had plans on Sunday, but I'll have to talk with her
Okay.
later today.
So we will sort that out. But thanks for playing, guys, and I'll speak to you next time. Have a good one.
All right. I should be
Good night,
less
guys.
like
Have
my
a good
character next time. All right.
See you guys later.
Later.
Bye.
Bye.
So, I'm not going to play the outro this time around, but thank you very, very much for watching. Really is cool that you're all here, watching this with us and going through this with us. Shit is picking up, as you can tell. Apologies for the volume control issues in the past, and that should be a thing of the past now. We should be okay. And thank you very much for watching. This is Blackcoats Session 7, the 7th Son. Next time, we'll be seeing shit hit the fan. See you then.